So you're here because you want to be consistent with your content, post regularly, and also show up for your audience, build a community. But we all have a life, and content creation is not just the only thing we do. So it's kind of find it very hard to manage. Then this is exactly for you. This is where I give you the perfect solution that will help you stay consistent. But before that, who am I? Hi, my name is Soumya. I am a social media manager and a content creation strategist. And this is what I do for a living. This is exactly what I tell people and help them do. So you can trust me on the solution. Okay. Yes, and I do this for myself as well. So let's just get into this. So the answer to this is very simple. It's already written that content batch planning. But I think a lot of time people what they do is right they create three pieces of content and they're like, oh, I have batched by content and it's done. Sometimes what they do is they like create 20 pieces of content, burn themselves out, and they never actually go back to creating content. So there's a right and wrong way to do that as well. And this is something that I do for myself, has worked for me. And let me tell you, before we even start with this, posting daily is not consistency. Get that clear in your head. And if you have seen the video from where you're coming on this big like video training, then you know what I'm talking about. But if you don't know, let me just summarize it. Listen, consistency means being consistent in showing up. It can be 4 times a week, it can be 5 times a week, it can be daily as well, but daily posting is not equal to consistency. Regular posting is equal to consistency. Got it? Yes. So now, without wasting time, let's just start. Because I don't want this to be like too long for you to watch and be like, what is it saying? God, sorry. Okay, look, everybody talks about content batch planning. Everybody has their own way of doing it. Some wants to do it all in a one day. Some wants to do it in 2 days. Some has like a big plan. Ki pura week dena hai. Depends on everybody. And the one I'm going to tell you is one of the many routines out there. What people follow, this is what works for me, and I think it can work for anybody without burning themselves out. Okay. Yes, it is a routine that you build over time based on the time you can dedicate to this process. Okay. And this one divides into 5 dedicated days. Now, when I say 5 dedicated days, don't think that it's like you have to give 5, 6 hours every single day. No. Okay. The reason it is in 5 different days is because we can delegate the part, like different parts of this routine equally without, burning yourself out, and you feel like you're doing something. So you don't also, get out of your routine, because what happens a lot of time we do things, then we don't do it for a while. Let's say you batch create content, you don't create for a week because you already have content, then you get back to this and it feels like a task. So we don't want that. Now, this is how the 5 day routines look like. Day one is where you research the content. Day two is where you ideate and plan the content. Day three is where you script and direct the content. And day four is where you shoot the content. And day five is where you edit the content. You can edit daily also, but I would prefer doing it on in one day for the whole week, because that's much more reliable. Not like me, I literally edit the same day, and I always feel like it's like the chore, and sometimes I do forget posting. So I prefer doing it at least a day prior. Now, one thing to let me okay, one thing to make clear is that each of these things you must block time in your calendar. So, for example, for shooting, I have my Wednesdays blocked. That every Wednesday I'm gonna shoot content, and that day I have no calls, I have no sessions, I don't do anything. I just shoot my content. I work on my content. So that's a day where I have totally, just blocked for shooting. So that's how I would want you also to at least dedicate a day just to shooting or just to content. So if you want to like club the first two things, you can do that, right? Depends on you. It's just the process that I'm talking about. You can modify it based on your. So let's start with each one of them. Now, day one is basically research. Okay, so day one is research. This is the day where you dedicate your time to find the best and viral ideas in the industries. Now, few things to keep in mind is always take one platform at a time when you're researching. I would prefer doing it on the platform that you're creating content on. So if it is for Instagram, create, do the research on Instagram. It is if it is for LinkedIn, do the research on LinkedIn. If it is for YouTube, do the research on YouTube. Okay, always make sure you're researching on the same platform you're creating content for, because you do not want to waste time on some different platform, then think of the format, because this way you get the idea of what's the format that your audience is watching. Okay, and that is something you need to be very clear of. Then gather at least 50 ideas at a time to have more data, what is working and what is not. Now the simplest way I will tell you is just search keywords, go to the reel section, search the most viral content. At least it should have like 100K views, and if it has millions, that's like best. And then just fill it in a spreadsheet with these columns: link, hook, a hook of the video because you want to know what's working and what makes people stop. Then topic, how many views it has, and type of funnel, is it top of the funnel, is it mofu, it is bofu, or ideas to work on, like what are the ideas that you can create out of it. If you don't know about content funnels, you can check my previous video, I have explained content funnels, so do check that out. And yes, fill in each column in the sheet while doing the research, so it is easier for you to filter out later on. Make sure you fill this up. Okay, now this is about the research. Then once you have done the research, this will literally take you like 2 to 3 hours, because that's something that does take if you're gathering 50 ideas. If not, if you're just gathering like 20, 30 ideas, then it would take you around just 1.5 hours. But I would recommend giving it at least 2 to 3 hours. Now coming to day two, it's ideate and plan. Now, this is the day you build on the ideas from the research you have done the previous day. Make sure you have your monthly strategy in place. You know what you're trying to achieve this month. You know what type of pillar, like content pillars you're following. Everything should be clear, and that is something that's the first thing when you do a research. So, if you have not watched my research video, please go back to that video on YouTube and watch that video. That will give you a fair idea of how to do a content research. Okay, now that will make it very much easier for you to drag and drop the ideas to the calendar and build on them, instead of trying to come up with ideas starting, say, right? And you must have following things clear. Number one, you should have your content pillars, like I said, what topics you want to talk about, so you can just filter out things like easily. If you have 50 ideas, how to filter out like 7 ideas of these 3 4 topics that you are looking for, so it's much more easier. Okay, and then is content funnel. Basically, you should know when you're trying to gain more attention. So like, when are you posting tofu, when are you posting mofu, and when are you posting bofu? If you are clear on this part, based on the content itself, you will be able to understand ki, okay, this day I'm going for tofu, so I would go for a type of content that will get me more attention, or I will go for a topic that is more trendy right now to get me the new reach. And when there's a day where you're trying to post both, like promotional content, you would want to look at your research sheet and see which is the content that can give you more and more conversions. Okay, and that's the bofu content, so you would want to create, take that idea and build on it for your bofu day. That is how you understand things. It's a process, but trust me, once you start getting in this rhythm, it actually becomes very easy for you to come up with content ideas. Now, how will the post look like? Will it be a reel? Will it be a carousel? Will it be a voiceover? Will it be a talking video? Everything needs to be clear, because on the next day when you're writing the script, it makes it very much easier for you to write the scripts, write the content. If it's a carousel, how would first slide look like, second slide look like, and third slide look like? Okay, if it's a reel, if it's going to be a talking reel, if it's going to be a voiceover reel, it's easier for you to build on your script as well. Lastly, make a list of content ideas that are finalized and plan on what day you will post each one of them. So you have a monthly calendar ready for you. And next, we'll do for the next day. So this is the day where you ideate, come up with ideas, and then plan what day you want to be posting what ideas. Okay, let's go for the next one, which is basically scripting and direction. Now, this is the day you dedicate to writing the script for the plan you have made. Let's say you have made a 7 day plan. Three of them is going to be carousels, 4 of them is going to be reels, and out of four, 3 of them is going to be voiceover, one of them is going to be audio based content, and carousel, how, what's the inspiration, all of that. Now it's time to write. It's time to become creative with your writing. Make sure you write all the scripts in a proper structure, so it is clear when you are shooting which line to start with. I would suggest you re-edit that particular first draft like twice at least, with proper interval. For example, you just wrote a script, wait for few hours, come back to it after an hour or two, and then check and re-edit it, and then come after another hour and be like, check if you need to re-edit something, because then it gives you fresh perspective to come up with new ways of telling the idea, and it makes your script much better. First draft is never the final draft. I said it. Give your brain time to be creative. Basically, that's why we are giving you like those intervals before you re-edit the things. Now visualize your process, the way you would want the content to look like. How would the fonts look like? How would the cuts look like? How would the b-rolls look like? How would the b-rolls that you want to be adding, when will it pop up? What kind of b-rolls do you need? What kind of shots do you need? If it is a talking video, do you want it to be shot like this angle? Do you want it to shot like overhead angle? Do you want a bit shot with like a good distance? How do you want it to be? If you have some references, just put it. That makes it so much easier for you when you're shooting the content. That's what I'm calling direction. So whatever script you're writing, give it a direction to follow, because you're a director of your own videos, right? And if it's a carousel, what kind of formats will you use? What kind of fonts will you use? What kind of colors will you use? Everything. Next, write everything, how you will shoot to how you will edit this video. And that is what scripting and direction day will involve. Okay, this can roughly take you around 3 to 4 hours throughout the day. And I think that's pretty much something that you can give to your content. If not, if you can easily do it in like 2 hours, if you're okay with, like, if you are used to this process. Okay. Next, day four is the shooting day. Basically, the day where you bring all the imagination into reality. You get ready, you get dolled up, and shoot the content. Now, here are some tips from my end to help you have a smooth session, because I really do it like every week, and this is one of the things that I really enjoy. So I think these tips can really help you. Now, first thing is, make sure you're not trying to shoot all at once. Don't try to be the person who just shoots the video in one shot. Please, that's not who you are. That's not you, what you want to be. Even I don't shoot like that, because you end up saying things that you don't mean. You end up saying things in a way which doesn't look good, and then you cannot edit it later. So don't do that. Instead, have cuts in between lines to have a smoother finish. So when you like shoot one line, then you shoot another line, you can easily kind of edit it out later on, the excess part, and make it work. But if you say it all together, then editing it becomes really hard. Okay, always break down your script, right, into one line at a time that you can speak in the video. And make sure your mic is on, because I have missed so many good shots just because of this. Not even kidding, the best shots, the best lightings that went to hell because I did not turn on my mic. Pro advice. Next, also make sure you have shooting. You're always shooting in natural lighting, unless you have some great lights for your camera, because that gives you the best shot. I'm not even kidding. If you see the video that you came from here, like the Instagram video you have seen before this video, you will see that that video came out really well. Like, I have shot that in this sunlight only, and it was like, I think, golden hour, and it was really nice. I loved it. Lastly, the editing day. Here, like, here we are, the last day, and here you have to be in your most comfortable clothes. Sit with your phone or laptop wherever you are editing the content, and just get started. Here are a few things I would recommend from my end, how I do editing. It's not very complicated. Always start with trimming the videos and removing excess parts from your video. Instead of jumping to adding fonts, jumping to add effects and stuff, first get the excess footage out. Make the video clear. So let's say it's a 60-second video that came out. Okay, now you want to trim out every part where you have stopped, you have taken a breath, that's not important, you have said unnecessary words. Just trim those out. That 60-minute second video can easily turn into like 45 minutes, or sorry, 45 seconds, or even like 40 seconds. It has happened with me. Always do that. That makes the video much more engaging. More the cuts, more engaging the video. Okay, it makes the editing process so much easier and smoother. Then have your fonts and color pattern clear, because that is what makes your video engaging. Know what kind of fonts will you be using, what kind of color would you be using, how would you put it in the screen. That should be very clear. You can take inspiration from different videos. And then add sound effects to make it more engaging. I feel in video there's only three elements: cuts, text, and sound elements. Uske baad jo aap karo, that's advanced. For a basic video to make it more engaging, these three are the most important part. Okay, and that's it. You are done for at least a week. I try to do it for a week, not 2 weeks, because I think then I get out of the routine. So this is the exact process you follow every week. You just repeat it every single week, and to stay consistent with your content. And you also can do 2 weeks if you don't have much time next week, but it totally depends on you. Okay, whatever works. And that was it. All the very best. If you have any questions, just drop it in the comment section. I'll be happy to help you out.